apologists are going to use this, and I don't want them to, and that's the only reason I'm bringing it up on the show to this whole fucking week, is that, according to Vice.com, there has been a gemstone that has been found, an extremely rare gemstone, that made researchers think that there are oceans that exist hundreds of miles beneath the Earth. And this could go into the theory of, where the water would have come from for the flood that happened on the Earth. But let's just talk about this real quick.
Okay.
The gemstone in question is called ringwoodite, which is created when olivine, a material that is extremely common in the mantle, is highly pressurized.
Okay.
And when it's exposed to less pressurized environments, it reverts into olivine. It has previously been seen in meteorites and created in a laboratory, but until now has never been found in a sample of the Earth's mantle.
Ooh.
So a diamond expert by the name of Graham Pearson from the University of Alberta came across a seemingly worthless 3mm piece of brown diamond that had been found in Brazil when he was researching another type of mineral. Inside that diamond, we're talking 3mm piece. That's really fucking tiny. Within that diamond, he and his team found the crystal ringwoodite, and they found that roughly 1.5% of that mineral's weight was made up of trapped water. So, and they said here that the water had to get in somehow, and using analysis of its depth and its water makeup, Pearson suggests that there's water deep beneath the Earth's surface and a lot of it. So he's extrapolating from a tiny little piece of diamond that he found this, where there's a lot of this out there.
Okay, so one person is speculating. I mean,
It's a hypothesis.
It's a hypothesis.
Yeah.
So
Okay, so that's not
an interesting hypothesis.
It certainly is. I would hope that it doesn't sound. It doesn't jive with my current understanding, but I don't understand most things. So
we have another researcher that went over the analysis of this guy's findings by the name of Hans Kepler of the University of Bayreuth in Germany. He confirmed the predictions from high-pressure laboratory experiments that a water reservoir comparable in size to all of the oceans combined is hidden deep within the Earth's mantle. And it says here that the Earth's crust, including the deepest parts of the oceans, reached depths of roughly 100 kilometers. From there, the upper mantle takes up about another 300 kilometers. Between there and the lower mantle is where this piece of ringwoodite was originally from, an area between 410 and 660 kilometers beneath the Earth's surface known as the transition zone. That's a long fucking way into the planet. I can only imagine the pressure that's in there. Jesus, man. And it says here that scientists have long been divided about what exactly is in this transition zone. We've known that much of the upper mantle is made up of olivine, as Kepler said, and scientists have long thought that the Earth contained reservoirs of deep water beneath the crust, but they weren't sure whether the water existed as low as the transition zone, which now they have because they found this mineral.
Okay, so now there's some speculation.
Well, some say that much of the ocean's water may have originated there. Others say that it is likely completely dry. So they're not saying everybody's in fucking concert here.
There's certainly not a consensus here.
No.
Basically, this is interesting. And I guarantee that should there be more knowledge gained, which I'm sure we will, there will be eventually be a consensus. And the people who right now are sure that there are oceans, should they be proven wrong, most of those scientists are going to go,
Now, here's the interesting thing is that Pearson's findings, because that little piece of mineral that he found, he says that everything's changed now, because in his paper, he said that there are two possible explanations for the water within that mineral. He said, one, the water within the ringwoodite reflects inheritance from a hydrous diamond-forming fluid from which the inclusion grew as a synergetic phase, blah, 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 blah. In this model,
not getting
into it, because this is what this guy, this is his nerd. This is what he's into,
That's fantastic.
Essentially, in dumb person talk, he says that the extreme pressure and chemical makeup at those depths spontaneously creates water.
Right.
Okay, we know that can happen.
Okay. Alternatively, he says here that is a protogenetic of this crystal here, is that it was present before encapsulation by the diamond, and its water content reflects that of the ambient transition zone. So He says in that model, the water and the ringwoodite are already there, and it absorbs some of the water. Either way you slice it, there is a lot of water in this transition zone. Both models implicate a transition zone that is at least locally water rich.
Interesting.
So how does this rock come from at least 410 miles beneath the surface get up to a riverbed in Brazil? Volcanoes.
Yeah,
I mean,
okay.
that's about the only way it can, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't going to be like somebody fucking like Jules Verne themselves down there to go get this kind of
definitely
thing.
not.
Yeah.
Oh man. So yeah, it was probably just plate tectonics eventually worked it up to the surface, and just it says here that it was coincidence that Pearson was able to analyze it before the ringwoodite turned back into its non-pressurized form.
Wow.
And he says it was luck. He said discovery, and there, as are many scientific discoveries.
Yeah.
And so at least it gives us the opportunity to think that there could be oceans beneath our oceans, but at the same time, it's not going to work for your fucking apologetics, Christians.
No.
Not going to work, so don't even think of fucking co-opting this thing.
That doesn't...
Man. Well, you know, the earth opened up and then there was water that came upon it. It's like, you're the same assholes that thought that there was like this ice shell around the planet that started falling down like when Adam sinned. You know?
But you said that it rained, though. So then God just had to poof it from below the planet, hold everything in place if there is water there, that it just stayed there. And then he rained it down on the planet and then flooded everything. And then it went back into those reservoirs. But then why flood the planet at all? Swear to God, I've been over this.
Felicia, quit asking these hard to answer questions for those Christians out there.
Flood, because he had to take the water from down there, but the oceans didn't sink into them. So that meant he had to like push it out. And like, I mean, yes, a magical being that can do all the things could do this, but then a magical being that could do all these things could also just go, everyone I want dead is dead.
Poof. Yeah, there you go.
Dead. No,
we're gonna make this ringwoodite in the fucking like 400 miles beneath the crust.
I just like tweak it, and then like that they're like, oh, but he was going for subtlety. Oh, he was going for subtlety. He was going for subtlety and rain that floods the entire fucking planet. That doesn't even make fucking sense.
Yeah, if anything, the God of the Old Testament is not fucking subtle at all.
A little less. Than
makes gravity not work the same. Makes like the water cycle just not work the same. That's as an incredible a feat as just that's way more incredible, way more complex, and way more scary than like just poofing people. That because you want to know what happens all the time is just people are dead a lot all of a sudden. Fucking the plague, the Spanish flu, like people just dead all the time just happens. Like
people just die. That's the thing.
If the stories were. And then a lot of people died really suddenly, we would have no time scale for that. And you would have us atheists going, could have just been a plague. And they were like, said it happened all at once. Like, we don't know. We weren't there. Like,
Shut up, atheist.
Yeah. But like, that's still better than flood the entire planet, which is just like, that's like bad spy movie convoluted. It doesn't make any fucking sense. It just doesn't. You know what it does sound like, though? It sounds like ancient peoples who had no concept of a water cycle or how it happened, but experienced a serious flood in their area and really didn't understand the entire globe as a thing.
Yeah.
Just had a really bad flood, and we're like, a lot of people died in a flood. You got like a lot of. It was really
be
scary.
wary of flooding.
Flooding is bad.
Well, and not to mention the fact that that's just a really terrible way to kill everybody, because it's not like Noah was the only person with a boat. There were other boats. There were other boats. I'm sure some people would realize that that shit was happening when it's raining and doesn't stop and the water is getting pretty high. Better take a couple of these logs and put them together.
Sandbagging has been a thing forever.
Or you can just, be like the lady from Titanic and just ride on top of a fucking door. I mean,
right on the door. But I'm sorry, everybody who lived around Noah, if he's building this boat for like years, I'm pretty sure they go, "What the fuck is this guy doing?" It's like, is that a boat? He's building a boat. Why is he building a big
fucking boat? Why is he building a big fucking boat? I don't know.
Like, he can't guard all of that. Let's just go ahead and sneak on.
He's building boats. He knows something we don't.
I know humans, and we're inherently criminal. So, because that fucking curiosity, as we talked about previously.
Maybe we should build a boat too. I don't know.
Let's just take his. That'll work. So yeah, it's not your apologetic. Don't even fucking try using it, because we had to science the way into this shit. You're not going to be able to God your way out of it. Android.